This is my TD42 GQ Patrol, and on the front of it, I've got a Warn 8274 high mount winch. Over the last 3 years, this thing has been to absolute hell and back, and to be honest, it's definitely seen better days. On our last trip, the brake finally gave up.
What are you doing that for?
When I stop holding the button, it like unwinds itself, but the brake's not working. The brake's failed.
And the motor was really starting to struggle pulling the big GQ around.
Alright, I'll winch out. Nah, my winch itself.
So in this episode, we're pulling the whole winch apart, rebuilding it properly, and giving it a new lease on life with a heap of fresh parts. Proudly supported by Opus, Ultima 9, Superior Engineering, GME, Adventure Kings, Outback Tourer, and in part by... So mate, it's another day in the shed. Berto's just driven this beautiful GQ in here because we got this busted ass winch in the front of it. So we're gonna try and get it out. Now our plan was to pull all of the bar work off, but you reckon might be able to get it off without the bar coming off?
That's his plan. My plan is to do the least amount of work to get it out. So I reckon I'm gonna pull this light bar out of the way, grill out of the way, obviously fair lead number plate, unbolt, hopefully it comes out.
Should I start cutting these zip ties for the grill?
If you want to be involved, mate.
Mate, I'll get involved.
Mate, this is gonna make for some premium viewing. Oh, and Tomo gets on the tools.
This grill is held on with zip ties in typical GQ fashion, so I'll cut all them off.
If anyone was wondering, my grill is not held on with zip ties.
Why have you long, mate?
Mate, I don't know what sort of shit we run around. At least we don't have to worry about scratching your grill. The thing's pretty much chrome, but like mud brown anyway. Mate, you know how many YouTubes I'm gonna watch today? How to rebuild Warn winch. This is nice not having to set my own camera up. I don't have to get it in more often, mate.
That's the grill, aerial, some of the wiring out of the way. So it definitely looks like there's room to pull this big winch up out. It's just a big, heavy winch. So we're thinking we're going to use the engine crane to pull it up out instead of us trying to bust ourselves pulling it up out through the bar.
Tyler doesn't want to have to pay for me to have a busted disc in my back.
The winch is nearly up out. Just going to get this radiator support bracket out of the way. It's just sort of catching, so once you remove that, it should pop up out. So we didn't have to get the bar off. That's the big high mount winch out. It's definitely easier with the engine crane. What do you reckon they weigh? 40 kilos, 30?
Yeah, I don't know, 30,
They're pretty
40.
heavy. So this is a Warn 8274, maybe. So it's a high mount winch. I just run it with 12 volt. I put this in the car when we built the GQ 3-ish years ago. So it's been through hell and back in that time. It's been through a lot of mud, water. It's been given a very hard life. Definitely was due for a rebuild.
It's got the old Roadrunner motor, old solenoid, no air free spool. It's a pretty basic high mount. They definitely modify them way more. But legends over at Roadrunner heard that we need some good stuff. So we have this is part of air free spool. So instead of us having to, I don't know if you notice how annoying it is when we're on the tracks, we hit a button and it goes out because you can't just pull it out. You're gonna hit a button, it's gonna go air, and then we're just gonna be able to pull it out and run up the hill. And then we won't have to run back down to the car to like make it lock again. Tyler can just turn the button off and we'll be good to go. So it's gonna make me a much happier man on the tracks. We have a free spool delete plate from Winch Gear. And yeah, in here we have the nice Roadrunner Offroad DCX. So this is, yeah, the new motor, which is real fancy looking. It looks way nicer than the other one. In here they have all the windings and these. And these get hot and burn out, and then they get weaker and weaker. And I reckon that's what's happening with yours.
Yeah, because mine's like barely pulling now.
Yeah, and this one is 6.8 horsepower, so it's better than a factory one. But this one, I just read somewhere on it, it's 7.2, so it's got even more power.
Mate, more horsepower.
We've got new brakes. We've got all new bushes, new seals, new springs, new bearings. We've pretty much got everything we need to give this thing a full overhaul.
And you've never done one of these before? You've never done a winch?
Yeah, I've never even fiddled with one of these, but I imagine it's just like Lego. I'm gonna watch a couple videos on YouTube, figure out how to do it, and if I get stuck, hello Aaron, how do I do this? And he's gonna give me the easy advice, I'm gonna get it done.
Sleeping in, fake sick, smoked a blunt, had a kid, don't belong, I'm a punk.
You know what I'm gonna do to start with? I'm just gonna watch a YouTube video on how to pull it apart. Because like, where do I start? This end, that end? I'm watching a YouTube video right now. Is that just glued on there that good, mate?
Spudgy King's been in there.
Who? Timmy, you're not a Spudgy King, mate. This dirt's already giving me the shits. Someone could have see a winch before they rang it in.
Yeah.
I don't know who this guy is.
Everybody's so nice lately.
So this is the brake. I'm pretty sure your top hat comes off, you undo this, pull the brakes and the bearings out, and then there's this retaining clip just here you lift up, and then you can pop this whole brake shaft out, I think. I could be wrong, but it's my first rodeo. This thing's like made one with the shaft.
Was an angel face, baby.
What the frickin' fuck?
We got a phone a friend here going on. Aaron.
Hello? Can I answer your phone, you little I see he's getting spammed. Hey.
There you go. So
Good.
undo the Allen key and there'll be two little keyways underneath the Allen key. Can you see them? Lightly tap it with a hammer around like that brake bit and then it should spring off because there's a spring underneath. So there's going to be a bit of weight under there. Try not to put lever bars in there because it can like disform the brake. You can put some little ones in there. Just to try a little bit of
Too late
weight.
for that, mate. These things are f***ing stuck. This isn't stuck on, as we know. Aaron said, just give it a little tap around here, because it's obviously stuck on here. As we can see, it's had water and 3 years of neglect. And whoever put it together must have put he says or something wrong, because it's seized. So he said, don't use pry bars like I was. He said, if you do, just be real gentle, because you can deform that. I wasn't too rough. I'm sure it'll be fine. But I need to try and tap around here and these are all your little bearings for that, which we got new ones. So give these to the kids to shoot magpies. Don't actually do that. This is like your middle bit, and they're your brake pads.
Inside all that is what is being replaced as part of this brake rebuild kit, and inside all that is what failed. Well, it's just all rusty and worn out in there.
Rusty, worn out. That brake pad's cracked. Stuck to that. So I don't know whether you've cooked it. It's just like overloaded. Same as your brakes and your clutch. Whenever you fill them up with mud, this is the exact same material. And like, you know, they slip. I can probably measure how thick they are. And this one's probably worn way thinner than what these are. So obviously the thinner they get to, the less this spring's gonna be able to push them out. So I'm pulling the brake shaft out currently, which, like, I've just undone the circlip for that. Mate, they come out way easier in all these other videos, let me tell you. Alright, so you reckon pull the drum out and then just have this end bit and then I'll be able to pry it out way easier?
Yeah, heaps easier.
So new game plan. Still need to get this out, but Aaron said it's way easier if you pull the drum off. So I'm gonna undo the two supports and then get this whole drum out, and then I should be able to, like, it's still got oil in there, but we'll clean that up, and then I should be able to hold this up and then pry it out because there's a brass bush in there which is also holding tension on it. So that seal was leaking.
Take my life, dress it up, sign the deal. I got paper cuts, they want it down, but they got us.
What's the plan now?
Clean everything up, rebuild it. But also look at that, your brake shaft had been moving, that the little gear had been
Hold it up.
cutting a mark on the retaining plate.
Mate, we'll have this in and out in one day at this rate.
How long did you think it was going to take?
No.
Hey, you know who you're dealing with here.
So big clean-up special.
Yeah, so like, we're going to pull the rope off this, I'm pretty sure we got a new one of these. I'm not sure, but yeah, we'll figure it all out and see what the dealio is.
What's the sense in sharing this one and only love? Ending up just another lost and lonely one.
Yeah.
Count up the years and they will be filled with tears. Love reason to start over again. You'll get the babies, but you won't have your man. While he's busy loving every woman that he can. I say I'm gonna leave 100 times a day. It's easy said and done.
Tyler looks like he's looking at me like, why are you scratching up my shit? And I don't know if you know, but whenever you get brakes or whatever, they don't come dead smooth. And they have like little cross-hatchy stuff. So I've got a little bit of 80 grit. And this was super smooth. So as you can see on that, I don't know if you can, but there's all the little scratch marks. They help the brake pads bite. Same principle goes for brakes. I figured it'll work for this brake. All them little tiny scratches. Gonna help it grip. So now I'm just going to remove the motor and the solenoid from the top hat.
To live it in trouble and strife. My mind must be free to learn all I can about me. I'm gonna love me for the rest of my days. Encourage the babies every time they say self-preservation is what really goes on today.
So there's a bearing, which is on that, which is on the collar on that. In here, these are all old and a little bit corroded and been hot. So I imagine they've just been used, mate.
Which I did. So
Yeah, used and abused.
it did still work. It just, you know, these things don't last forever.
It was lowered output.
Never be hung up like my man in me.
All of this is pretty clean, ready to probably start rebuilding it. But I've been pulled off to go and work on Gary's car. Don't have many days left before I go away. So these are both priorities, but that's probably a bigger priority. I'm gonna leave this. So it's another day in the shed. I've pretty much finished cleaning everything, and I reckon it's about time we get this winch put back together. So I'm gonna start off today with putting the bottom gear and the brake shaft back in. So this is my first time doing it. It could be wrong, but I've watched a few videos, so we'll figure it out. Pretty sure we start. This is the main gear that goes on the drum. Just slip him in here, because he gets slid into that drum later. But we have a brake shaft, which you need to have this plate lined up, because it needs to install through this retaining plate. And then also, this is like a washer and a big C-clip, which holds this bad boy. Before that goes, we need to make sure this is bottom of this. And you just gotta make sure that you have all the things lined up. Gotta have the plate lined up, that bottom gear that I put in there before, lined up. That is that gear going into that shaft. And now I'm pretty sure I'll be able to flip it. Well, before I flip it, push that down to lock it so it can't fall off. I'll get the circlip pliers and get that gear clipped onto that so it can't come off. So yeah, look at that.
Yeah, I know.
It's like I just watched that Timmy Has Heart video. Now that thing's clipped on, we'll flip this around. We got brass bush and a seal, which that's an old one. So we're going into like an alloy case. So I've got a decent sized hammer that's got weight to it, but I'm only giving it like pretty little hits from side to side, so it's going in straight. And I'm using the old one as a hitter. You grab the bottom bit and then you spin the top bit, and this bit pushes up and makes it go in easier. So this seal's currently dry. I'm gonna get some grease. So what do you reckon I'm gonna use for this, mate? A little bit all on, mate. You know, nothing but the best. So I'm just putting these on so it's lubricated, it's not going in dry. Won't burn a seal, even though this isn't really going crazy rotations. You want to make sure you get the lip of the seal over without damaging it. Then I'm going to use this to install it. which is the old one. So that's installed, flush, just under. All looks pretty even. That's a floppy bitch, but I imagine that's just how they are. I'll ask someone that knows more than me. Hey, I just started Birdo's phone a friend.
Yeah, what's going on?
Alright, I spoke to Aaron, he said that's pretty common. When it's all together and whatever, and under load, it obviously won't. It should be fine. If it's not, we're watching you.
Mate, these blokes out here building my house, they're a bit noisy.
You want me to go out there and fucking...
Tell them to stop building.
The next thing I'm gonna do is get this on before we put the whole brake assembly together. So I'm gonna put some grease in this middle bit. You can't grease this middle bit once it's done, so I'm just gonna get a bit in there. And then this bit here, I'm just gonna put a light smear on, but we can get a grease nipple and we can grease this one after, which Tyler's was missing off, so. There we go. So next up, I'm gonna get the brake all assembled, which starts off with the bottom one. It's keyed to this, and that's what locks it on, drops down into a place. And when that dropped down, it took half that slack off it anyway. Because I think that's what he says, when this is all pushed and whatever, takes half the slack out of it. Next thing, get this sort of wound up, so because it's got a spring in it and we need it to sit bang down on it, so you need to preload that. And then this can only go on one way, which we want it to go on that way, so that the brake can actually lock. So when it's running, it's going, and then it locks back on it.
Looks like you built one of these before, mate.
No, I just watched a couple of videos, mate. Let's go over to my collection of good parts. Everything that I potentially need to reuse, I've got over here. So, and then you've seen all the balls that fell out last time? We got a whole bunch of balls. So I'm gonna do the unspeakable. Handful of grease, mate.
He's gonna grease the balls.
This is normally something that you'd do. I'm not too skilled in greasing balls, so. Because yeah, everyone says grease these up, but you also don't want to grease them too much because they're in the middle here is where they go, and you don't want them flicking the grease out onto the brake pads because then it's like your car brakes where the brakes don't work very good. All these little suckers go down around the outside, and you see on here how there's a little solid line worn in. That's obviously from your bloody balls rolling around. We've got that there, right? I've already done a little stitch up here, mate. Because this goes on top. You're about to get one brake pad on one side, mate. And then this thing here goes down here, I'm pretty sure, or the spring. I can't remember. It's that or the spring. I'm gonna quickly Google it before I call Aaron again. I don't want the tally going up. Shit, mate. See that? ChatGPT don't fuck about. Next up, keyways. I'm gonna go get anti-seize. So I feel like potentially we go like this. This is gonna be a two-person job, I reckon. So this, right? Once I get this pushed on, pushed in, that just has to go on top of this, and then that can get threaded into that. We'll just get it started, and then I'll go get Loctite, unless we want to get Loctite now, but yep, even if you just leave it like that should sit there just on that,
yep.
And then I'll get Loctite, we'll push it down, put a drop on it, and then do it up. I feel like maybe these somewhere. Call Aaron, 101. Phone a friend, number 6. Mate, you better be able to answer me at all times.
I'm not on the payroll.
Mate, what am I paying you for? Nah, this brake, right?
Nah, so the spring goes, I put the spring in first. The shims go on the outer brake pad where your bolt goes.
We'll check that. See that, we had it rolled. Aaron saved us. So he's saying that these potentially, these go on. If you've got heaps of slop, add one, put it back on, see how much slop it's got. Because technically what that does is push that further and makes it tighter, because you want it so the brake pads are sort of like just either not touching. You don't want to have heaps of slack, because then it's got to move heaps before they work. Which I think your old one had heaps. Technically he probably could have just banged 1 or 2 of them in there. And like they would be to account for how old this is, how much wear they all have. Let's just bang 1 of these on anyway. Maybe even just get 2, because it feels like it's going to be a 2 situation. So see how it's like I feel like this is gonna be good. Flip him. Our seal goes in here. So next up, we'll put the whole airfoil spool drum in. So yeah, this is the winch gear air free spool. It's got a bearing on this side, which is an upgrade over the factory bush. And then the secret with this is, right, I've got that big gear that I had in there, which I've got to line up, and that plate I've got to get out of the way. See how that just sort of just slid all the way in? Now that can't come out because I put that shaft on there. That's on. We can put this end plate on, which just literally slides in like that, and then it's held together with these. So normally the only thing holding this end on is your bar being bolted together, and then these. But factory, they don't have these. So otherwise, if you don't have this just floats.
Show me how to lie, you're getting better all the time and turning on the key.
Hasn't made that noise for a while, has it?
Looks like it works.
Yeah, well, it's locked. Next up, I'm gonna undo the end plate off the motor. So I need to remove the spacer and the bearing off the motor, put the bearing into this topper. It's gonna be the first step. Alright, we got bearing off. Now we need to get the bearing into top hat. I'm just hitting on the outside, not the inside. That's all the way home. So now we go motor on, right way up. So this is what Aaron was saying, you just put the armature in by itself, because these are the brushes, and they put these in, I'll show you what these are. This is the inside of a motor. You got a bearing. This is where power comes through, because obviously it rotates, but you have to have power going through. So there's that surface there, and then we have up here, see all these brushes? So they all run on this. That's how pretty much every motor works. So the easiest way, Aaron was saying, is you just put this in like that, and then, so I know this orientation goes down like this, and then your brushes are going to get caught on that bearing, so we push them all out. They go down, but now we need to get a little screwdriver and push the brushes in so they go down to the surface where they touch. It's a bit fiddly because you've got to get all four of them. And see how that just dropped down? So they're where they have to go for the power now. And then this is your end plate. So there's an O-ring in there. These go down. There's a shim there. Don't bloody lose that because that gives this bearing preload. And we need to get this on and then the bolts bolted down. And then this is what holds your motor down in. It screws into the hat. So what we got here is the winch gear the free spool delete. Gets rid of that little knob which fail and then make your brakes and whatever not work. So the one that we had in there, right, it's just like that. See how they're different? This one actually supports the gear, and this little spacer goes down first so that that bearing can actually spin with the gear.
This is an upgrade over the one we had in there.
Yeah, correct. So I'm just gonna get silicone. We're gonna silicone this around, and then it's held on with 4 little Allen bolts. But yeah, that slides in like that. Make it so the logo's the right way up, and that the gear, this cutout here, that one obviously doesn't have because it doesn't support it, but that gear cutout has to go to that, otherwise you won't get it in. I'm just gonna go, you know, not crazy with this because I don't want it to look like a big mess. And it's just got a seal. So I'm gonna put some down, and then I'm just gonna nicely spread it. Make sure they start properly. So now, I'm just going to do these up sort of slowly and evenly. It all worked together good. That fits straight in. This fits straight in. Have a look at it, mate. It looks beautiful. So they've even got these nice billet machined end caps for the engine, for the motor. So now, this thing's like ready to go.
Get her on there.
You hyped up?
Yeah.
I might knock off. I'll come back to this tomorrow. These are just, there's a slot here, which you can see, which is what holds this plate. It stops everything from pulling out. That's the only thing that holds the drum and the brake. So we've got that. Bit of spudgy through this, 3 bolts, and she's done up. But I'm thinking while I have this off, I just put some oil straight in there. Right, so we're gonna put in around 180, 200. That's what I found. So that's 125 right here. Boom.
It's bacon with Birdo.
Bacon with Birdo. And my favourite ingredient is Nulon 7590. So, look at that. Oh, shit. Sounds good, looks good. Cooking with Birdo segment's done. bacon's fried, mate. So next step, bacon with Birdo. We're going to spudgy some stuff up, which this is upright, so I'm just going to do it. Gonna make sure it's all proud where it goes up onto the big moulded bit. Right, 2-man operations here, potentially. I'll put this last one on, and then that's gonna be winch upgrades, all but done.
Bleach my hair, mess it up, take my life, dress it up, sign the deal. I got paper.
Now that the main bit's done, we're gonna do some of the accessories. Solenoid air freeze ball. So this needs to go on the end of the drum so we can get air in and actually operate the freeze ball. I've got this on here, and then on the compressor, we have an ARB locker solenoid, which will work just like the locker ones do. You press it and it gives air to it, which lets us then pull the rope out from inside the cab. Boom. So the next step would be put the solenoid straight on. So they haven't quite yet got a bus bar solenoid kit because they're different spacing. By the time you see this video, they'll have them. So if you want one of these in the bus bar, you'll be able to get one. But for now, I'm gonna put the original bolts on, bolted on there, and then I'm just gonna make cables for the winch so it's up and operational. Boom, Chicky D. So we even got a brand new Albright solenoid straight from Roadrunner. It would have been rude to bolt that other bloody dirty one. This all went together pretty damn quick. All right, so I've gone to Burson's. I've got some 70mm cable and some insulated lugs. So got the 70mm tool here. So that's one on there. I'll be able to poke this on here, get it bolted down, and then figure out a length that I want these. Boom, it fits. Nice, not too long. So now, get the insulated boots. So, you see me make the one, I've just banged out these other two. It's not exactly the neatest, straightest thing because these are pretty thick and they don't real easy. So that's just how it's gonna be until we get the bus bars. But this thing's ready to go in the car.
Go to sleep and I never wake up. I spend a lot of money on these therapy sessions, even though I'm not showing up. I spend a lot of time healing my mind and my heart, but I still put these drugs in my gut. Me and my girl were just screaming at each other right before we both got out of the truck. I got some demons inside, I'm trying to free them aside. I found the clearly need side with the boy you was just starting with you now.
That engine crane method of getting the winch in seems to work pretty good.
Well, I don't know about you, but I ain't breaking me back for some other.
So that's the freshly built worn 80.
274, mate.
That's the one with some fresh Roadrunner parts on it in the GQ. Mate, ready to winch you up some hills.
You know when you're on the beach, right, and you run into the old folks with their surrounders, Saharas of all the gear?
Yeah.
All the gear, no idea. That's this bloody gear in this winch. So let him talk shit while he can.
Mate, that's the most important part on any one of my cars, a winch. So now, just got to get the number plate, bits and pieces, grill, GME, all the stuff back on, and then we've got to get the rope on, wind it in. Actually, I forgot too, and we still got to hook up air.
Yeah.
So you got the air fitting down there, what's your plan with that?
What's my plan with that? I'm going to put the locker solenoid into the thing that's under your seat, so I'm going to have to pull your seat out probably, and then I'm going to run the air line to it, and then the hardest bit is going to be figuring out how I wire it with like a little relay, or if I just give switcher power, because I don't think the solenoid takes too much power. So it might be right, but we'll figure it. Do you mean to put the earth to the power and power to the earth?
That sounds like a good idea.
You go backwards. Black to red, red to black. Look at that, look at that. Put this fella back on. All right, so I've just ran the air free spool airline, and I've put the solenoid into the compressor. All I've got to do left is wire it, but I've cheated and I've just stolen a plug from one of the lockers, and now I'm going to test out the air free spool works. So, just like that, one hand pulling it out. Easy as that. That's going to make it a lot easier than us having to do it slowly. And getting it run back on itself. Press the button, straight back locked. Boom, just like that. Beautiful. That's done, other than the wiring, which I'll do tomorrow.